Vice Mayor Jones, perhaps you can give us the D1 update.
Thank you, Ken, and good morning, everyone. It feels like forever that since the last time we've gotten together, but it's great to see all the faces that are up here in Zoom. And there's been a lot going on, obviously, since the last time we've gotten together, but I know that it's a pretty packed agenda, and I wanted to focus in on a couple of things, and then we can open it up at the end for questions, and you can bring up any concerns that you have. A big topic right now is San Jose water and water rate increases. So I asked John with San Jose Water to come and do a quick presentation, an overview of what's going on in terms of the rate increase process and how they're going about it. And then we can have a brief discussion in terms of what we can do as a community to address the concerns about rate increases. And we're not giving John enough time to really do a deep dive. So I just want him to do a high level overview, and then we can have follow-up meetings with John. He's willing to come back out and meet with us over Zoom, I should say, and go into a deeper dive in terms of the water rate increases. But I want to pass it over to John right now to do, again, a high level overview. If we have enough time, we might take a couple of questions, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
Okay, great. Good morning, Councilmember Jones. Good morning, residents. Thank you very much for inviting me to be here today. I'm really delighted to speak with you about San Jose Water. I was told that I have about 5 to 10 minutes, so I'm going to speak to a few items that are most frequently asked and maybe field any questions we have in the time that we have remaining. As the council member said, I'm certainly hoping that this is the first of many conversations that we can have on this topic, and that you will invite me back for a more in-depth discussion on the matters that are important to you. So there's no doubt, right? In the last 12 months, it's been a difficult time for all of us. San Jose Water is actually working daily to help our customers and support the community that we've called home for the last 154 years. We are also grappling with the daily challenges of delivering safe and reliable water service in the face of the pandemic, as well as other disasters, excuse me, stemming from wildfires, floods, PSPS events, which public safety power shutoff events and brownout events over the last few years. I'm proud to report that our water system has performed exceptionally well as a result of the $1 billion in system improvements made over the last decade to replace wells, tanks, and water mains. One of the concerns that we hear the most from customers, and as the council member touched upon, is certainly centers on rates. And they want to know why it's going up. They want to know why rates go up when conservation occurs. And I'm hoping to be able to have a longer conversation with you on these matters, because it does require a deeper dive. They can't be explained in talking points, and I don't want to disrespect you by doing that. I think what I can share with you today is that rising water rates is an issue impacting the entire industry. If you Google water rates rising faster than inflation, you will find a trove of high quality sources on this matter. America's water infrastructure is in need of huge investments to reliably deliver on their public health mission. The need for these investments is impacting the entire industry, and the US EPA, the American Water Works Association, along with the American Society of Civil Engineers, all speak to this at length on their websites. You know, San Jose Water, having been in your community for 154 years, we are not immune to those challenges, and we are replacing our infrastructure just like everybody else is to reliably serve our customers. There is ample evidence of the harm caused by deferred maintenance and the tremendous collective risks we all face due to the failure to invest in and improve our infrastructure and utilities. I understand that rate proposals are never popular. I get that, and that these can be difficult conversations to have. I've had many of them with different groups, with different customers, and I think one of the things that I take away from that is that while the conversations can be difficult, I think customers and San Jose Water Company come away with maybe a deeper understanding of what's on your mind, as well as you going away with a deeper understanding of, what are the challenges facing the water utilities? Why are these things happening the way they're happening? One thing I will say is that I would rather have those difficult conversations with you where I can share information on how we are looking to deliver on our public health mission and serve the next generation, than to have conversations that Jackson, Mississippi and other rural American communities are having about the consequences of not doing enough to deliver on their mission. I'm sure you've read the news about the once in a lifetime storm that ripped through Texas and other parts of the South. Jackson, Mississippi, for 2 weeks after the storm, did not have water in their water mains. They were not able to do that, and that is not because of that event. The event just kind of precipitated that outcome, but it comes from decades and decades of underinvestment into their water system. One of the most frequent questions we get asked is, why are your rates higher than other utilities? It may surprise you to learn that San Jose Water's rates are not the highest in the Bay Area. I do hope to be invited back to show you the comparison of Bay Area Water Agency rates and do a little deeper dive into them. It's not really enough to just take the rates from two utilities and compare them. Every utility will have different needs depending on the age, size, and their condition. And I think if I do get invited back, I think you'll find that information to be very informative. Again, I think we know that this is a difficult time for our customers, and we will absolutely do everything we can to support them and the communities where we live, work, and serve. We also remain committed to delivering on our public health mission to deliver safe and reliable water service. So I think with that, council member, maybe I can answer a few questions if there's time. Happy to do that.
Sure. Hey, Ken, would you like to facilitate?
Sure. If anyone has questions, I was going to put this in the chat, but I mean, I think this could be a topic of, that we could have like a general meeting on outside the D1. And, I think we would promote it and so forth, and probably others like the WNAC and stuff, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are interested in it. So I think it could be something we wouldn't have to wait for a D1 because obviously there are a lot of details that would need to be provided, or whatever people would be interested in. So anyway, questions?
I see Bob has his hand up.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thanks, Chappie. Ken, that was a nice presentation. Thank you very much. I'm the chair of the Environmental Resource Advisory Committee for Valley Water, and I'm curious. And I know on our next agenda we're going to be looking at water rates as well. And I'm curious as to how much water, what percentage of water does San Jose Water get from Valley Water? And are the rates increases tied to Valley Water's rate increases?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, Mr. Levy, and thank you for your work with Valley Water. So you probably have a greater appreciation and understanding of our relationship with Valley Water. So San Jose Water and Valley Water are two separate organizations. However, we are linked at the hips. We buy water from Valley Water, and then we retail it to you and businesses, residents and businesses. Over 90% of our water supply is actually comes from Valley Water. So in a typical year, what we do is we get 50% of our water, and this is San Jose Water, from the Sierra Nevada mountains. So that comes through Valley Water through their water treatment plants that they treat, and then the 40% comes from the groundwater that we pump from the ground. So, and then we have about 7-8% of our surface water supply in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but over 90% comes from Valley Water.
And then so your rates are tied to Valley Water rates very closely.
Yes. So that's I'm sorry, I didn't address that part. So if you think of a dollar bill, every dollar that we collect from our customers, about 38 cents, actually 38 cents gets remitted back to Valley Water for those water supply costs. So if you think about Valley Water's rate increases, let's say they raise their rates 10%, they're looking at a 10% rate increase right now come July 1st. I think they're still talking about it. So when they raise their rates 10%, we're going to raise our rates 4% because it's roughly a 40% on the dollar to recover those costs.
Okay, well, that's good information to know. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Looks like Gary has a question.
Yeah, thank you. I remember, and I'm not speaking for the neighborhood commission. I'm speaking, as an observer at that meeting. But this came up at the commission several months ago, maybe even over a year ago, when the rate increases were first announced, and the water is controlled by the Public Utility Commission. One of the concerns we had was and this was also in the mix with the PG&E issues, is whether the San Jose Water was maintaining their pipes. They do make, they're a profit-making organization and all that. And the other issue was we just wanted to know what the city's position was, because that rate increase had to be approved by the PUC, and what strategy the city was doing to making the position known on, trying to mitigate the cost of the rate increase. My personal, not the neighborhood commission's view on this, was that there wasn't, I don't know, that much either enthusiasm or interest. We got the presentation, but that was it. And the neighborhood commission was, we kind of wanted to do something or participate in something, get some interest in the community, feedback about impacts on the rate increases on different communities. So, but that was when it was first announced, and the increase was significantly more than it was more than 10%. I think over the out years, it's going to be even more significant, almost double. I'm not sure. I don't have my notes from that meeting. It was quite some time ago, but the increase over the out years is quite significant.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Cunningham. So I don't recall if I was part of that meeting or not. I don't recall that meeting personally. However, what I can tell you is that if you're talking about our rate proposal that we just submitted in January, it's called the general rate case application. We only do this once every 3 years before the Public Utilities Commission. And you're absolutely right. They are the ones who set water rates. We will go to them with what we anticipate to be expenses and what we anticipate to do in terms of capital investments. And they ultimately have to decide, what's just and reasonable, as well as balancing the safe and reliable infrastructure. That's really the fulcrum that they try
this
to.
Was
balance.
not necessarily San Jose. It was the San Jose Water's increase, which San Jose City is a customer of San Jose Water. So therefore, you're getting your water from San Jose City, San Jose Water, which is an impact, your increased costs as a result of being a customer for that. So there was that interchange. Am I right? Am I interpreting that right? San Jose City is a customer of San Jose Water?
Yes, that is correct. We serve 80% of San Jose. Actually,
Right.
San Jose has 2 other water utilities serving it.
Right. So you're buying or getting your water from San Jose Water, and if they increase the cost to you is going to be increased, correct?
Oh, okay. So if I understand your question correctly, so the municipal water system that is owned and operated by the city that serves, not D1, obviously it serves D8, I believe, most of D8. They also have a relationship with Valley Water. They do not buy water from us. So each of the water utilities in San Jose have their own relationship with Valley Water, and they buy water from Valley Water because they are the wholesale water supplier.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this would be a great topic for a future discussion. So with that, thank you, John, for coming. And with that, Vice Mayor, I'll turn it back to you.
Yes. And thank you, John, too. As everyone can imagine, no one is in favor of rate increases. I know that the council that we're reviewing this, and we don't want to see any rate increases. Actually, we'd like to see rate reductions, particularly in this tough economic time and knowing that a lot of our residents are struggling. But I wanted to, for the leadership group to at least hear from John, hear from San Jose Water, and have a better understanding in terms of the process, how they're making the decisions they're making. And then we can have, again, further discussions in terms of what we can do as a community to try to at least mitigate some of those rate increases. We don't, at least San Jose doesn't have the power to stop any rate increases. All we can do is advocate on behalf of our residents. But I want my residents to be fully informed in terms of all the dynamics that are going into any rate increase proposals. So again, thank you, John, for coming out and presenting.
Council member, can I just say one more thing really quickly? So I mentioned the California Public Utilities Commission. They are regulated. They are the ones that set rates. Just so you know, the rate review process takes a year. So our rate application, we only do this once every 3 years. So we set rates for a 3-year period. So it's a once every 3-year occurrence. Our rate case application this time is about 10,000 pages. And there are dozens of people at the Public Utilities Commission that are looking at every single one of those pages and going through them and saying, hey, do you need this expense? Do you need this project? So it's a very, very thorough process. There's an office called the Public Advocates Office that represent you and me. I'm a ratepayer as well. I live in the area. And so, I would ask that you maybe look at their website, the Public Advocates Office at the CPUC, and see what their charge is. Their charge is really to look for the lowest rates possible that delivers safe and reliable water infrastructure, as I mentioned earlier. So with that, Councilmember, thank you for inviting me. Thank you, D1 residents, and I do hope to be invited back.
Thanks a lot, John.